More evidence tonight of a Louisiana law enforcement cover-up in the death of Ronald Greene 2 years ago. The highest-ranking officer on the scene told internal investigators he did not have a body cam footage or body cam on when he did, according to documents obtained by the Associated Press.
I'm your brother. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Lieutenant John Clary's video was made public last week by the Associated Press. It shows the scene after 49-year-old Greene was repeatedly jolted with a stun gun, put in a chokehold, and punched by white troopers. Clary's video shows troopers dragging Greene face down by his shackled ankles. Initially, Clary said Greene was resisting arrest and not cooperating, but his body cam video shows him cooperating, scared, and gasping for air. He died on the way to the hospital that night. We reached out to Louisiana State Police for their reaction to the story and have not heard back. The case is now under investigation by the feds for civil rights violations. I'm joined now by my colleague and BNC host Charles Below, who published an op-ed in Sunday's New York Times titled "The White Policing of Black Bodies" about Ronald Greene's case. All right, Charles, I had no idea how connected you actually were to the state of Louisiana. You grew up there. You talk about how Interstate 20, the highway Ronald Greene was actually driving on, links so many places that you know so well, where you were born, where you grew up, where you were married, towns that are majority black and in which you felt safe. Tell us why you felt safe.
Well, the one interesting thing about the modern South is that the municipal South is largely black. There are 1,200 majority black cities in America. 90% of them are in the American South. And so you get a lot of towns and cities that are majority black. One thing that white flight did in the South was it didn't mean that people left the states. They went outside of the city into unincorporated zones where they did not have to abide by city rules. They did not have to pay city taxes to send city black kids to schools. And so you have areas outside and in between these cities that are majority white, but inside the city proper is often majority black. And because the interstate connects these places, these state troopers often police the spaces in between these oases of blackness.
Well, you say in between those spaces along Interstate 20 that it was obviously a very different story. The Louisiana State Police, as you call them, state troopers, patrolled, and the feeling they gave you wasn't safe. Are there any personal experiences you've had with these state troopers that you could share?
No, I haven't had any personal experience with troopers. I don't think I've ever gotten a speeding ticket on the interstate. But it was, you know, the advice you got from parents and neighbors was just different, because in the city, you likely knew who in my small town, I knew the guy who was we had one police officer. I knew the guy who was a police officer. Old guy wouldn't hurt a fly. And then when he left the job, he was replaced by my cousin through marriage. So I never grew up with any kind of sense of trepidation around policing, other than in these empty spaces, because no one knew these people. Where were they from? They were roaming all over the place, and they didn't look like us. They didn't respond to us as neighbors, as the people in town did. And so all the places that I put in the piece, that's where you felt like you knew people, and in fact that you very likely did. I knew the police officers in Arcadia. I knew the police officers in Grambling. I knew, police officers up and down the I-20 corridor, because you're connected through some family, some church, some school you went to, and somehow they know who you are. That was just different with this kind of outside force that policed the highway.
Now, you pointed to the lack of diversity among Louisiana state troopers as one part of the problem, that Louisiana is 32% black and only 16% of state troopers are black. So, yes, I would agree that that's part of the problem, but then you look at cities like New York, right, for instance, where the NYPD is 23% black, and black people make up a staggering 67% of corrections officers. So it doesn't necessarily fix the problem of systemic racism, but what else can we do besides recruiting more of us as police officers?
Well, see, there's a lot of very interesting data around diversification in policing. So up to a point, it actually makes it worse, if it seems like, because some of the data. So Philadelphia did a big examination of all of their use of force against people who were unarmed. What they found was that black officers accounted for more of it than their white counterparts did. Another study found that female officers are more likely to use force than their male officers did. And what the social scientists speculate is that people are trying to demonstrate for the white culture that they are tough. And so up to a point, it has diminishing returns. But beyond that point, it seems to have some real effect. Where people are in community, I know you, you know me, you know my mother, we grew up around here, you know where my mother lives and what church I go to. At a certain point, it has some effect. It is not an ameliorating effect because you have cities like New Orleans, majority black, police force, majority black, and yet they still have a problem with policing. They have a consent decree. Things, I think, got worse in some measures under consent decree. It's not a panacea, but it is a real problem that is amplified when you have no diversity.
Now, you pointed out in your op-ed that Ronald Greene's case isn't about a few bad apples, as a whole bunch of people like to suggest, but that the state refused to release the body cam video and the autopsy report for 2 years. And we just found out that a lieutenant lied about the actual existence of a body cam footage. So how, Charles, I know this is a hard question, but where do we start in rooting out this corruption? Because I think this is one of the worst cases I've seen.
Well, it just becomes hard to see how the system can fix itself, because there is no way that no one saw that body cam video and everybody stayed quiet for 2 years. Now,
right.
They may say that only the lieutenant saw it. I doubt that is the case. And then the medical examiner's report does not seem to me to fully account for what happened to his body. And any medical examiner would know the difference between being punched and kicked than being in a car accident. So, there's more than just the officers on the scene who are complicit here. And when you have a system like that, where you may say, oh, it's just the bad apples who did the kicking and punching, but if the rest of the system will shield those bad apples, then that's called the shade of the tree. The whole tree is doing the business at that point.
Yeah.
So and also it destroys public trust. How are black people supposed to trust a system where they see you lying? They see you making up police reports in case after case after case. What are we supposed to do other than the practical thing, which is not to trust?
Right. Well, Charles Blow, it is always such a pleasure to get your point of view. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you. Oh, and y'all, catch his show after mine, Prime, with Charles Blow. Had to plug you right there for a second.
Thank you.